Secretary McHugh, thank you and General Odierno for focusing on the sexual harassment, sexual assault issue. As we read the troubling stories about those who have been charged with rooting out sexual harassment being found guilty of the same, it raises the question about the assignment, the responsibility given to these officers, and whether it is viewed as the responsibility that it is, whether it is viewed as a secondary assignment without much of a career path. Address that, if you will, in terms of how we are going to solve this problem.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, and that is something that I see as a critically important point, and indeed it's something the Chief and I and the other service secretaries and chiefs talked with the President about a week ago tomorrow at a meeting at the White House where he expressed his concern and his expectation that we'll direct our every attention to this. And to your point, Mr. Chairman, and it was really the point of a message that the Chief and I sent just recently to all commanders, that we expect, first of all, commanders to pick their very best. We don't have data on it, but I'm concerned to this point too many of these positions may have been filled in a way in which someone had an honorable record but was otherwise available. So they were assigned to these, what we believe to be critically important positions. Next, as we discussed with the President, there really is no reward to a soldier as there are in other MOSs and other fields and occupations in the Army for taking these assignments as a means by which to advance their career. So we have to incentivize it, not just to encourage commanders to pick their best, but to ensure that soldiers who serve honorably and do what we expect of them will be duly recognized in appropriate ways. And I've tasked the Assistant Secretary of the Army for Manpower and Reserve Affairs to begin to work on, along with the G1, our personnel 3-star, ways in which we could appropriately do that. The other thing I think we have to do, Mr. Chairman, is look beyond the service record. Virtually all of the cases that you cited, to the extent we have the information thus far, including the Air Force examples you mentioned, involved officers with, if not unblemished, awfully good records. And while that's an important part of the process of picking these individuals, I don't happen to think it's enough. And I will sign a directive by the close of business tomorrow that will do several things. One, to expand the records that we check, to make sure that we're understanding the individual we are picking to the greatest extent possible. And that includes the conduct of a behavioral health examination, which right now is not done. We need to get behind the uniform to understand the kinds of people we are picking, and not everyone is suited for every job in the Army, and I believe not everyone is suited to do this job. So incentivize the right people to do the best job they can, recognize them for that, and make sure we're giving commanders the tools to pick the very best and the most appropriate selections.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary.